Hello there. So here I am out in the garden. It's just turned 4 o'clock, but it's already beginning to get dark. It's quite dull and grey today. So yeah, usually it's not dark on a good day till about 5:30, but yeah, as you can see, it's not great, you know. You can see the solar panels behind me. They're not doing a whole lot today. But anyway, so there's a few things I want to talk about today. First of all, I'm going to move on from what I mentioned in the last video. Well, at the end of that, I showed you a stretch which is being turned into a flower bed. So we'll have a quick look at that. So here you go. You can see there's a stretch which was covered in cardboard and a bit of plastic. You can see I've put down the mulch and I planted a few plants. This particular part of the garden is facing north, so I've deliberately picked plants that will tolerate a bit of shade. So in the summertime, the sun will come up about over here. In winter time, it's coming up over there. So, and winter, it won't make it past this corner of the sun. In the summertime, the sun will set over there more or less. So that means, at peak light, is like the middle of June, you get morning sun and you get evening sun. But then in this time of year, you get very poor direct sunlight. So, as you can see here, this is a bit I did earlier. So I've cut away into the cardboard to make it with necks, which the next step is to just dig a hole, and then I shall plant this hydrangea here. They're quite versatile as a plant because they'll do okay in sort of not total darkness, but like fairly low lights of semi-shade. There is a particular hydrangea, I think it's hydrangea petiolaris, which will do really well in shade, but that's kind of more of a climber than a freestanding shrub. So you can see there's a few more plants here ready to go in, and I have to buy a few more. I think I need about another 5 or 6 plants to complete this bed, and I'll use that same technique all along. And once you put it in and put back the bark mulch, you'll have very, very little trouble with weeds. So it's a nice, easy technique, and it minimises the amount of work you'll have to do in the future. It'd take quite a long time for this cardboard to rot down that's underneath the mulch, but eventually it will rot down and decompose completely harmlessly, unlike plastic Mypex, which doesn't rot ever, and little bits of it can flake off. Plastic isn't really a very good thing to be using, especially the kind of plastic which will break apart, leaving some microplastics over time in the environment. Not a good idea at all. Just a few thoughts about the natural world. Okay, so we have a situation, I suppose, with nature, in that it's very much a combination of creative and destructive forces. So this time of year, the creative forces is probably sort of at its weakest. But come the spring, there'll be a sudden increase of energy. So nature is sort of organized in itself, but it's also on a larger scale quite chaotic as well. So everything is heliotropic, I think is the right word. It sort of gravitates towards the sun in the terms of the plant world. And then all the organisms like us and animals, we rely on the plant world. So indirectly we're incredibly dependent upon the sun. So, I mean, plants will try to grow in a sort of ordered way, but there's an element of chaos involved as well. So they compete with each other. Sometimes in nature you'll see horrible tangled messes and plants growing in strange ways, constricted, what's called fasciation, where branches are horribly strangled and squashed. Not very nice, but I suppose that's all part of it. Nature left to itself will reach some kind of an equilibrium. And in nature we're constantly surrounded by life and death. And the death itself is feeding into more life, so it's never a static situation. And I think there's so many lessons to be learned from nature and from observing the natural world. Learning from books, learning from colleges and schools and lessons is all very well, but there's certain things that you really can only learn from experience. An analogy I like to use often is the sun itself. I mean, obviously the sun is a central thing to gardening, central to all life. But imagine you read 100 books about the sun and you looked at thousands of photographs, but you never actually saw the sun itself. You never got up and watched the sunrise or watched the sunset. You might know millions of facts about the sun, and you may have looked at all these books and all these photographs and know all this information, but to actually go out and feel the warmth of the sun on your face, to see it, to watch it come up, to watch it go down, to see it in real life and understand what it is very different from just knowing what it is from a book. So I think nature is like that in general, that you can learn an awful lot from people, from books, but you need to immerse yourself in it to really understand what's going on. Oh, there's a sheep over here. I'm going to see if I can flip this around. You can have a look at the sheep. There we go. I don't know who this sheep belongs to, but she's heading off now. So anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm going to leave that poor sheep alone. Looks like she's gone off into somebody's garden now. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you found that interesting. So, not every video is going to be practical. Some of them will be a mixture of me jabbering on philosophically, and some of them will be actual practical advice as well. So I'll do a mixture of the two. So anyway, I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please give the video a like and feel free to share it or subscribe to the channel, and over time you'll see a number of videos building up on this playlist in relation to gardening and my book, The Druid Garden. Thanks for watching.